Guys, today we're going to talk
Guys,
CNN and the fakest name in news and why they are a
the fakest name in news. Fakest name in news. Oh, Fair and Balanced.
disgusting and vile organization.
Oh, disgusting and vile.
The world today needs a Hitler.
Ahmed Raja wrote, "The world today needs a Hitler. Dozens killed as Pakistani airliner crashes in Karachi."
You heard that right. Someone who's a journalist and works at CNN.
Who got fired, I think, immediately after this, right?
The world today needs a Hitler. I guess this is in response to the unrest in Israel and Palestine because Israel's defending itself from about 3,000 rockets being shot at it from Hamas, a known and designated terror organization.
So they were fired immediately for this. I'm sure they've been bylined on a few things, but not somebody who's out front. But shall we? Well, we'll wait. We'll wait. I have a response.
Not just by the U.S., but also by the EU. And if those liberals are saying they're a terror organization, guess what, guys? There's no questioning this one, okay? If they're willing to go on board and say it, they are. But this CNN contributing journalist has a long history, it seems, of anti-Semitic and pro-Hitler tweets.
Your dad slept with Mein Kampf on his nightstand.
Tweeted someone in 2014.
In 2014, do you have that tweet written on a Post-it just below your screen?
About Palestinian genocide, saying inner Hitler among the Germans must resurface. Hell yeah.
Alicia Journo, Palestinian genocide, inner Hitler among Germans must resurface. Hell yeah.
Quote tweeting another anti-Semite. The left-wing anti-Semitism has become really mainstream these days.
Hold on one second. Can I go look up something? 1 second, if I might. Let's see. Now, contributing, Tucker Carlson's top writer has resigned from Fox News after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks online. Blake Neff used a pseudonym to write bigoted comments about black and Asian people as well as women on the online forum AutoAdmit. Was known as Carlson's top writer. Neff originally worked as a writer for the Daily Caller, which Carlson co-founded. Fox News. So Fox News executives on Saturday said they condemned Neff's horrendous and deeply offensive comments. Neff's abhorrent content. These guys would address comments. Okay. Fresh scrutiny for Fox's Tucker Carlson was it a contributing writer? Was it somebody no one's never heard their name before? Who was writing? Okay, was doing what? Okay, just clarifying.
These days, you see it when you see the people criticizing Israel defending itself with the Iron Dome and saying, "Well, it's saving Israeli lives, but it's also kind of part of the problem."
No. The Iron Dome is one of the things.
Mainstream news organization allegedly sharing office space with Hamas and knowing.
Oh, this is the idea that they were sharing office space. They're literally Al Jazeera and the AP were, arguing with Hamas over the coffee machine.
About it. You have CNN contributor tweeting, "The world needs a new Hitler," but that's.
And I'm sorry. What was? You were on Tucker Carlson. You've been on his show a lot. You were on his show a lot when this guy was working there. He wrote the lead-ins for your segments when you would visit Tucker Carlson on his show.
But that's not where it ends, guys.
No, guys.
Back in 2014, he said, "The only reason I'm supporting Germany in the finals is Hitler was a German and he did good with those Jews." This is about the World Cup soccer. Okay? The next day, he tweets, Heil Hitler.
No, he said, Hail Hitler. And let's see. May I? I'm going to look up something. Adil Raja. So, how long did they keep him on after he did this stuff? I mean, we all know that Tucker Carlson knew that his head writer believed and said these things all the time, right? But, okay, Raja, who contributed to dozens of stories in the news network, struck a defiant tone after losing his gig. CNN cut ties with freelance contributor. No, I thought he was a staff writer, but okay. Contributor Adil Raja after it emerged that he had posted several anti-Semitic tweets. Most recently on Sunday when the Islamabad-based journalist tweeted, "The world needs a Hitler." Raja, who has contributed to dozens of articles for the news network since 2014, deleted the post after it drew heavy backlash and other anti-Semitic tweets surfaced. Before Germany played Argentina in 2014, this was before he was working for them. The only reason I'm supporting Germany in the finals, okay, and the next day he tweeted Hail Hitler. So these both went together in 2014 before he was working for CNN. They should have known this. They shouldn't have hired him. But that said, he was a contributing writer, so he was getting bylines. In May, former Vice President Mike Pence tweeted that America stands with Israel. Raja responded by writing a history of creating terrorists and standing with them. That I would argue is run-of-the-mill anti-Israel sentiment in general about their actions. It's not in the same category as the other stuff. CNN said, whose Twitter bio formerly read freelance contributor to CNN, but now says super producer, contributed to some news gathering efforts from Islamabad. However, in light of these abhorrent statements, he will not be working with CNN again in any capacity. So he was a local Islamabad journalist who contributed to stuff, and then he would get a byline because of it. Let's see. Raja was defiant on Twitter, writing on Monday that he was glad to lose his job if it meant bringing attention to Palestinians escalating violence between Palestine and Israel. Glad a single tweet contributed to the Palestine cause, brought it to limelight with me losing my job. Losing? Dude, you lost your writing job because losing is spelled with one O. And the West's claim of freedom of expression and human rights. Yeah, none of us are claiming that you can keep your job at CNN when you type Hail Hitler. And it's Heil, isn't it? I mean, come on. You should lose your job just for being that bad a writer. All right, so.
More importantly, it's been up for like 7 years and change. It's been up, and Twitter hasn't removed him for violating their rules. These are the people, and CNN.
At least he's editing.
This guy has 54 articles under his byline at CNN. They shouldn't just be firing this guy. They should be firing whoever does their background checks, okay?
He was a contributing freelancer in Islamabad.
Numerous pro-Hitler, anti-Semitic tweets in 2020.
Heil is German for hail. I know that. That's why that's why we don't write hail.
21. As bad as Heil Hitler for 8 years. And
see, excuse me, he did not write Heil Hitler. He wrote Hail Hitler.
Nothing happens. But you know what? Nothing will probably happen. He'll lose his job. And again, they removed the tweet that was live after 7 years because people like us forced the conversation.
You didn't even mind until then. You agreed until you decided CNN was the enemy.
And it's absolutely abhorrent that Twitter allowed it to happen for so long. This is your guy, CNN. What would you be saying about this if someone did it about one of your causes or about the Palestinians? I think you'd make a really big deal about it. But because this guy seems to be mimicking so much of the left-wing anti-Semitism that we see out there today, taking an anti-Israel stance, a pro-Palestinian stance, it's going to be okay. And guess what? He'll probably
And guess what? Guys, come on. Honest to God. Are you 11 years old? Have you been snorting the same shit that Ben Shapiro snorts? Why do you have a baby voice? What is happening?
remake himself as a victim, okay? Just like Chrissy Teigen.
Who gives a fuck? Oh, just like Chrissy
probably
Teigen?
going to remake herself as a victim, even if she can slip into teenagers, young, impressionable teenagers' DMs, and convince them or try to tell them they should commit suicide. Okay? These are the heroes of the left.
Really? I didn't realize that Rajid, what's his name? I honestly don't know his name. Adil Raja. Adil Raja, guys, I don't know if you knew he was your hero, but he certainly was. Same thing with Chrissy Teigen. I know you think she's not your hero, but she so is.
These are the people that the left boosts. So CNN finally, after almost a decade of live tweets, without any diligence or background checks, finally cuts this guy loose. But guys, the damage is done, and this stuff is being mainstream.
Why? If the damage is done, why is Tucker still on the air? Why is he on the air? If the damage is done, if that's enough, I mean, his head writer, the guy he particularly picked, you think his thoughts were a mystery to Tucker Carlson, that writer?
Mainstreamed. When are we going to do something about it? Okay?
What's to be done? You want to open fire on the headquarters of CNN? Is that what's to be done? You don't trust CNN. You're not going to. Even though they found out the guy said this, they fired him immediately. He was a freelancer. You, on the other hand, are on Rumble lying that he was a staff writer, lying that he was actually entrenched somehow at CNN. And when they cut him loose, you don't go, good, they got rid of the guy.
Okay? We need you guys to do something about it also, okay?
What does that mean?
Don't just watch the message and agree. Pass it on, okay? Mainstream journalism isn't going to do this.
Oh, share this Rumble because no one's watching my shit. That's what that is. That's okay. 28,000 views. This is larger than the ones he's normally getting, but then they're also, buying views. So he's got 3,352 Rumbles on Rumble. That's what he's complaining about. Nobody's watching his shit.
Do this. The big guys aren't going to do it. It seems they employ these kinds of people. This is probably some...
Sorry, the big guys employ these kind of people? He was a freelancer in Islamabad who got added to bylines because he provided information in those areas. Sorry, what? The big guys?
Something that is felt throughout their offices around the world. So if you guys don't share these messages, if you don't pass on this information and this insanity, this kind of disgusting racism and anti-Semitism will continue.
Yeah, if you don't share Don Jr.'s rumbles about a guy who was fired from CNN, do you even Schindler, bro?
We need you guys to be on the front lines with it. We need you in the fight with us. Get in there. Let's make sure everyone sees these things and make sure clowns like these are canceled for life.
He was. He lives in Islamabad, dude.
Again, I'm not a big fan of the cancel culture, but when you
when it comes to him or Liz Cheney,
do this, we got to play by their rules. They made the rules. I'm just playing by them.
Okay, so you're a follower. I see.
And these people can't be part of journalism or, frankly, anything ever again.
Or frankly, anything. They can't use a public restroom. They see them in a restaurant. So basically, they should be murdered, is what you're saying. You're calling for the death of people who work at CNN because they fired a dude who said something that was in a book your dad used to have on his nightstand. Cool.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
Guys, today we're...
Guys. All right.